So next we'll go on to look into the methods for determining the ICs of a construction. Okay, so what is this topic about is how you have to divide the given sentence into two. So that is what is the various methods they are using. The first method is the basic method is that of comparing samples. So comparing samples that so from school we have been doing English, isn't it? So you should yourself get enough intelligence to divide the sentence where you have to divide. Okay, so it is almost since we have been doing from age 5 or 6, so we are used to many different English sentences. So you can compare the sentences wherever you want, and using that you can divide the sentence. Okay, so that is what is about the first point. The basic method is that of comparing these samples. Okay, and second one is suprasegmentals. So suprasegmentals, as you have already done, it is nothing but to talk about stress and intonation patterns. Okay, so depending on where the stress and intonation pattern comes in the particular sentence, you can get the hint for the division where the cut has to come. The third one is that of freedom of occurrence. Okay, so freedom of occurrence meaning that certain phrases will not be clear for you, but you can just read and read more things and find out the freedom of occurrence. So for example, they are talking about here one phrase, old lighthouse. Okay, so where you have to divide the sentence or the phrase, no, that you have to decide depending on the freedom of occurrence. Okay, so usually here the lighthouse will be together, isn't it? So old should be divided further, so this is a cut that you have to give. So old is one, the ultimate constituent, and the next immediate constituent is lighthouse. So depending on the freedom of occurrence, so you have to make the IC cut. Okay, and the fourth one is substitutability. Okay, so substitutability meaning that you can substitute one word and check. For example, if this is the phrase given for IC analysis, like her son's school, and now you are confused where to give the IC cut, meaning you can just substitute, instead of her son's you are substituting the word Sam's. Okay, Sam's school. So where will you give the cut here? You will be giving the cut after Sam's, isn't it? So just by substituting one word, you can make the cut here. So where you have to give the cut is here. So this is how you have to guess and give the proper IC cut. Okay, and the next one is, so talking about next one is labeled IC analysis. So what do you mean by labeled IC analysis is you are giving the label for IC analysis. So already we have seen the IC analysis for your understanding. So this is what I have been teaching you, isn't it? So here we are just dividing the sentence, given sentence, into proper IC cut. Okay, but nowhere we are labeling it. So it is not labeled. This IC analysis is not labeled, but certain other they used to label the IC analysis. So for example, here if you check, all the words are labeled. Okay, so what is the sentence is, little Ramu walks slowly. And here we are just putting up like construction meaning the given sentence. So the given sentence is divided into NP and VP, noun phrase and verbal phrase. So which is the NP is little Ramu, and which is the VP is walk slowly. Again the NP is divided into adjective and noun. Adjective is little and noun is Ramu, and VP is divided into verb and adverb. Walked is verb and then slowly is adverb. So labeling, no, like VP or NP or adjective or N, this is called as labeled IC analysis. Okay, so here in the following lines they have given various type of labels. Okay, so the functional labels like subject, predicate, object, etc. can be used for the labels for the constituent analysis. Okay, so here when you are checking the structure of predication, dogs bark. Okay, dogs is subject and bark is predicate, and then here a boy, is modifier and boy is head. So these are different types of labeling. Okay, And the next one is the structure of complementation. Okay, so here in the sentence, he is clever, he is subject, and then is verb, and then clever is complement. Okay, so these are all examples of how to label. And the next one is the structure of subordination. Okay, the book on the table. The is modifier, book is head, and then on is subordinate, and then the is again modifier, and table is the head. And then next one, the structure of coordination, John and Mary. So, and as you all know, it is a coordinating word, and then John is an independent unit and Mary is another independent unit. So now we'll look into the advantages of IC analysis. So there are two advantages of IC analysis, as we all know. The first IC analysis advantage is all the things are graphically displayed. Okay, so I mean properly we can know the hierarchy of the words also. So in such a way we are making the analysis. That is the first advantage of IC analysis. And apart from that, no, I mean it gives accounts for the types of ambiguities. Ambiguities meaning which is not clear. So certain phrases or sentences will not be clear, but after IC analysis it will make all the doubts clear. So that is also an advantages of IC analysis. So in the next page, I mean, the examples are given in the textbook. If you read yourself, you can understand the two advantages of IC analysis. So now we'll go on to the limitations of IC analysis. So when coming to the limitations of IC analysis, so the first one is constructional homonymy, or the problem of ambiguity. So that is the first limitations of IC analysis. For that we can look into one example sentence, hunting dogs. Okay, so when you are just making the IC analysis, we cannot clearly give the meaning of the phrase hunting dogs. So what is the first meaning of hunting dogs is the dogs that hunt. Okay, that is one meaning. Or it can also mean that people who are hunting the dogs. So this type of ambiguities cannot be clearly explained in the IC analysis. So already in advantage we have seen that it will clear the ambiguity, but at certain times it also it cannot, or it is helpless to explain the meaning clearly. And the second example here they have given is smart children's pets. Okay, smart children's pets. So here again, no, I mean the smart children's pets, the same phrase, whether the children are smart or the pets are smart, that is again ambiguous. Okay, and that is not clearly explained by the IC analysis. So the second problem is the problem of discontinuity or discontinuous ICs. So what is actually discontinuous ICs are? So for example, in this question, is he coming? So here actually when we are making the IC analysis, it will be like is coming has to come in one side, I mean at one side. Okay, he will be coming at the other side. So this is again no, it is a problem for this type of IC analysis. So as they have clearly shown in the next page, is he coming? So how will you make the IC cut? That will be very complicated. Okay, so is he, no, is he coming? It will be like crisscrossing when you are making the branches, and when you are using the topless boxes, no, that will also be like going zigzag. No, so this is box and this is topless box. So everything will be like somewhat complicated. And the next one is the problem of embedding. The problem of embedding is where you have one sentence inside another sentence. Like the boy who won the prize is my cousin. So you have one sentence inside another sentence. So that is again a complication for IC analysis. The next one is the problem of conjoining. Conjoining meaning joining two or three words or sentences. No, so like, do you like beer, brandy or whiskey or rum? No, so we it will be very difficult to make IC cut. No, I mean dividing all this whole question into two, that is a difficulty. And the next one is the problem of structural similarity and different grammatical relations among constituents. So when you are looking into the two sentence here, John is easy to please and John is eager to please, they are of same structure. Okay, structurally they are similar, but meaning is totally different. So this type of sentences will also create problem in IC analysis. And the next one is the problem of inter-sentence relationship. Inter-sentence relationship meaning that they are, they cannot show the difference between active and passive voice. Okay, affirmative and negative, and declarative and interrogative, all these are not explained in IC analysis. Next one is the problem of what is called a group genitive. Group genitive meaning that possessive cases, the possessive cases are also not recognized in IC analysis. Okay, and the next one is a problem of overlapping ICs. Overlapping ICs, so in certain sentences, no, the one word will apply for two things. He has no love of or kindness for dogs. So no applies for both love and kindness. So this cannot again be clearly mentioned in IC cut. Next one is the problem of multiple ICs. Sometimes a sentence cannot be divided in just two. Okay, we might need to be divided into three, that is called as multiple analysis. Okay, multiple ICs. So we have seen that ICs will be dividing a given sentence into two, isn't it? But that is not always possible. Certain sentences cannot be divided into two, they need to be divided into three. So that is again a problem in ICs. Okay, and the next one is the problem of understood elements. Understood elements meaning that certain words will not be mentioned in the sentence, but it will be understood. For example, please pass the salt. You is understood, but there is no way of showing that in IC analysis. Okay, please pass the salt, isn't it? But you will not be mentioned in the sentence, but that is understood and that cannot be mentioned in the IC analysis.